The best way to get better at programming is to practice. And in this example and some upcoming examples, we're going to look at creating a class. In this specific example, we're going to look at class level variables, sometimes referred to as an attribute and sometimes referred to as a property. As always, this file is available for download using a link provided below in the description. We'll give you just a couple of seconds so you can download this, then you can choose to follow along or attempt it on your own and then check your answers. All right, so let's get started. We already know from previous examples that to create a class, we're going to do something like public class and then the class name. The class name has to have the same file name as our class, and it is standard practice in Java to create your class names with a capital letter. Hence, you see something like example1. Now, we want to name our classes based on what they're going to do. This is our first example in this. That's why we have it listed as example1. But let's say example1 was supposed to represent a person. How would we look at doing that? Well, we need to define what type of class level variables you're going to need. These are sometimes referred to as attributes or properties, and they help describe what example1 is going to be like. So for example, I might want to have a first name. Well, in order to do that, I need to specify inside my braces of my class, what type of accessor. Is this going to be private, protected, package, or public? I then need to determine my data type and then the variable name. It is a good practice to have all of our class variables be private. So I'm going to say private string first name. And you'll notice, as we noticed before, variable names tend to use what we refer to as camel case. That's where the first letter is lowercase and the first letter of each new word, if it's a multi-word variable name, is going to be capitalized. Now you might say, okay, well, why do I get a warning here with that little yellow underline? Well, that's simply because we have not used that variable anywhere. And so therefore, it is shown as a warning saying, hey, did you forget about this? The answer is no, we just haven't gotten to it yet. Now, what class variables you need is going to be very dependent upon how you're going to use this. For example, we said that this would be for a person, but what type of person? Is this going to be a student? Is it an employee? Is it a customer or a ball player? These are all things that are going to dramatically change what we're going to store. So for example, if I have an athlete, I might want to know their height. Why? Well, in certain sports, height is very important. And so therefore I'd have that. However, if you are my customer, unless it's for like a custom clothing store, I probably don't need to know your height. If I'm just going to buy some windshield wiper fluid, the auto parts store doesn't need to know my height. So I always want to think about only incorporating things I'm going to need. As a generic person, we're going to simply put in another private string and last name. And then I'm going to do private int age. Now, you might look at this and go, well, why are you storing age as an integer? Maybe you should store date of birth. And that's a good idea. However, we're keeping this very simple, so we're only going to show these three things right now. If you like this video, please consider giving it a like and subscribing so you can see more videos on learning how to program better in Java.